What's going on YouTube? Stealing Likes here, and I'm out here trying to get me some likes. You caught me once again, that hand in the cookie jar. Today, a bonus battle against Tristan. Now, anybody who's been here since the beginning knows Tristan. Tristan was my first scheduled battle. But Tristan, I love fighting Tristan. It shows me how different my playstyle is now compared to 2 weeks ago whenever I really started this. So, bringing this one to you guys. Me and Tristan, we hooked up for this one not too terribly long ago. I think it was yesterday. And it was a good matchup. So Tristan brought his Dragonair, his Luxray, his Militic, his Golurk, his Gigalith, and his Scolipede. I brought Carbink, Roserade, which you guys might know as Synthphony, from the Milsey Minor video. I brought Drifblim, I brought Kabutops, Scolipede, wow, I do that too often, Scolipede, and my Mega Medicham. So let's go ahead and get right into this one. Now, Tristan, always a fun time, used to the intro character now for me, as I lead off with Carbink, and he leads off with Scolipede. Now, I didn't realize that this is a baton passing Scolipede, so early on I'm going to get up the rocks and let that kind of do its work throughout this matchup. They don't play a huge part as there's not a ton of switching for once because I don't really run as many switches as I used to. So I pull Carbink back after I just said I don't run many switches, and I go out into my Drifblim looking to either threaten this thing out or just get it away from me, because I'm sure he doesn't want Scolipede to have to deal with my Drifblim. But upon realizing that he's not going to stick around, I was like, you know what, I'll just Will-O-Wisp. He baton passes off his speed, and I'm ready to burn just whatever comes into play, as he sends out his Militic. Now, I go for the Will-O-Wisp, and I do actually get it to land. So, Militic gets burnt, going to get a little bit of residual damage at the end of every turn. And after that, I really don't feel comfortable leaving Drifblim in, so I switch him out, because an Ice Beam to a Drifblim is just bad. I go into my Kabutops, knowing that it's going to be able to take the Ice Beam, and it should be able to deal out a pretty decent amount of damage on this thing. I know that Kabutops is a water type, but the neutral rock I felt like was probably a good call. So, I end up going for a Stone Edge here, whereas he's going to go for the Scald, just hunting for burns. Really, it almost has to be fishing for burns. Or at least that's what I think at the time. As he does land the burn on the first hit, I will get off my Stone Edge. And guess what, folks? It's a crit. I did not expect it. I didn't really anticipate that at all. I feel bad for it. So on the following turn, I'm actually going to go for a Brick Break. Just because I feel so bad. As he goes for the rest. I didn't expect the rest at all, mainly because I knew this thing was carrying a Shell Bell, so I didn't think that he was just going to put his Pokemon to sleep. So I go for the Brick Break just so that I know that the crit didn't matter on this turn, and my Kabutops goes down. I'm okay with that. Kabutops, not a huge player in this matchup, in my opinion. As I go out into Synthphony, now with Synthphony, I'm figuring that I just get a Threaten out the Baton Pass boost, get a sleeping Pokemon in the wings. However, he goes for the Sleep Talk. I guess he's hunting for the Ice Beam. He gets a Scald off, which doesn't bother me either way one bit. And I'm going to go for the Giga Drain. Now, once again, folks, guess what? I crit. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. My Pokemon are on fire for no reason. So I get the crit off. It's a crit that really didn't matter. I think it's a 2-hit KO either way. He goes for the Sleep Talk, gets a Scald. Doesn't really bother me one bit. Doesn't get the burn, which I'm happy about at that point, because I don't really want Synthphony taking residual damage at the end of every turn. As I go for the Giga Drain to finish off Militic, I was under the impression that that last crit didn't really matter. So I just went ahead and took the kill. It's funny how 1 minute I'm like, oh, I feel bad for the crit. And the next I'm like, no, I'm just going to kill you. But, sorry about that, Tristan. So he sends out his Scolipede. Now, I have no idea what this Scolipede's actually carrying at this point. But he goes for the Protect. I'm going for just a neutral Shadow Ball, half expecting this thing to not outspeed me without the speed boost the first turn. But he protects, and that kind of worries me, but I decide, you know what, I'll stick around, I'll see what Roserade can put down on this thing, as Scolipede probably will not appreciate an Iron Ball, or a Shadow Ball whatsoever. So I do Shadow Ball it, get that to drop as he puts up the Iron Defense, which doesn't bother me at all. He gets his Sludge Regeneration and his Speed Boost, and we go into the next turn where he protects again. So the Protect stalling, obviously, for the Speed Boost to take a bigger play in this matchup. And he's getting ready to Baton Pass off at some point. I know that. But I'm going to keep going for the non-resisted Shadow Ball, as I don't think anybody on his team resists it. So that's pretty much what my plan is at the time. I'm just spamming Shadow Ball. I don't know exactly what to expect to come in next, but I do know, whatever it is, it will probably not be weak to a Grass-type move. So he goes for the Protect once again, just locked in on getting that biggest boost he can from his speed. Now, on this turn, well, not yet, but on this turn that's coming up, he's going to Baton Pass out, which I've been prepared for this whole time. I'm Shadow Balling, once again, who's shocked? Just spamming on that Shadow Ball button as I see Luxray come out. Now, I'm not sure why he chose Luxray. I'm not sure if he was just going into something that could get its special defense up, because I am just Shadow Balling all day long right now. But Luxray doesn't really appreciate that, as I do give it a negative stage in special defense. So it's actually not feeling too happy. Now, it's going to charge, getting its special defense back up to 0. I'm just going for the Shadow Ball again. Now, the Shadow Ball, once again, hits for about the same amount of damage. Well, actually, no, it hits a lot less, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. But, goodbye me. So, he heals up with the leftovers, goes for a Spark on the next round, just to get off some damage, but I resist. Once again, was really confused by what was going on with the Luxrayness. But I go for the Shadow Ball, take this Luxray out, get it to go down to the Roserade. So Symphony actually picking up kills in this fight, and not just one. Symphony probably an MVP for this one as he brings out the Gigalith, and obviously Symphony's all over this. This is like the matchup I could only dream of right here, as I go for the straight-up Giga Drain and take down this Gigalith almost completely in a turn. Oh no, I did take it down in a turn. So, one turn hit on the Gigalith, it's just out. It's not wanting to deal with those problems anymore. As he goes back out into Scolipede, it dies to the rocks on entry. So I'm not going to count that as a Symphony kill, but Symphony's just doing work in this battle. As he goes out into Golurk, now obviously, once again, something Symphony is all about. So, I go for the Giga Drain. Even though I have the Shadow Ball, it's not Stab, and it doesn't heal me up just in case that thing has some kind of priority madness it wants to do. I don't think Golurk can Shadow Sneak, but I wasn't too sure at the time. So, I just go straight away for that Giga Drain, get that off. So now I'm spamming the Giga Drain at this point. Now I do go for the Shadow Ball just for kicks. I felt like just throwing the change up in case he switched out, because I do know his last Pokemon is not weak to grass. It resists grass. It's his Dragonair. Now, I didn't want to use my little hidden secret back here on this Dragonair, or on the Golurk, just in case he decided to switch. I decided to just keep it safe, not let him know that this Symphony is packing Dazzling Gleam. So, gonna hit for a crit again. That's 3 crits now. He's gonna Dragon Dance, get himself up in the speed, get himself up in the physical attack. Now, Symphony just looking like a boss out here, as Dragonair goes to sleep. I didn't even expect it. I have no idea what's going on at this point, but it's just looking terrible. So, I get off the Dazzling Gleam again, and once again, it's a crit. So I crit twice in a row. 4 crits in this matchup. That crit might have mattered for the the final kill total. So there might have been 2 crits in here that mattered a little, as I think that the Dazzling Gleam from Roserade is a 3-hit KO. so he could have ended up pulling something off with a sleep talk. But I end up going through with this matchup, getting a 5-0 win. Tristan wasn't happy with me after that one because of all the crits. There were so many crits it wasn't even funny. But that's today's bonus battle. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. I had a lot of fun with it. Next time, I'm hoping that whenever me and Tristan face off, I have less crits, or at least no crits that matter, as that was just a lot of fun. So, you guys make sure to subscribe, drop a like below so that we can bring these Wonder Trade Wednesdays. I will have up my first Wonder Trade Pokemon either late tonight or early tomorrow, as I do have a couple of things that I need to get done. But aside from that, you guys make sure to stick around, and I will see you soon.